So I just arrived here and I'm thinking of doing something with that, but yeah, let's set up. I was so close to get a final painting I'm happy with. It's not there yet, but it's getting closer. I'm very happy about that. So here I'm in Liberty State Park. The view that I have in front of me is New York City skyline, and in front, in the foreground, it is Ellis Island, which is the National Museum of Immigration. And yeah, I was very excited and I was very happy to paint that view. It's been a while that I'm painting a lot of trees and a lot of nature subject en plein air painting. So I needed a change and I decided to go there to paint that view. It was a long time that I had this view in mind, and I was holding back because I wanted to progress first, make some progress with my plein air painting, and then come here to paint that view because I absolutely love that view and I wanted to paint it. So here it's early morning, it's around 8 a.m. when I started, and for the first time I was able to stay 4 hours on the spot painting that view. So this is very good because I started with 45-minute session, then I spent an hour and a half, and then I was able to spend 2 hours and a half painting, but I was stuck with this 2 hours and a half point. I couldn't pass the 2 hours and a half. I was getting too tired, and finally lately I'm reaching more than that. So I reach 4 hours, and this is probably the maximum I can do with a good lighting condition that doesn't change too much. Here when it's overcast like that, it's better, but you will see at the end of the painting that the sun is coming out. So also I noticed, because lately I've been trying to go very early in the morning to paint, and here when I arrived it was around 7:30 in the morning, and at that time there is still a lot of water or condensation in the air. So the thing is that it's great, it gives a great effect because the building were really receding in the back. They were really like pushed back because of that water effect, but the problem is that this effect lasts around 30 minutes in the morning and then it disappears. And with my small experience plein air painting, I'm not able to keep that value range and to work with a view that has completely disappeared. So I kind of waited that this water dissipate to start the skyline, and anyway the time I sketched everything, the condensation already disappeared. So here I was so in love with the subject that I was very meticulous, and it's a good thing to be meticulous, but sometimes can be a bad thing too, because you are too tight with your brush strokes, you're not loose enough, and here I can tell that I would have benefit to choose basically an average value of the whole skyline, paint that average value, and then come back in and adjust the values of certain building, and adjust the hue of certain building that will be less blue, for example. But here instead of that, I'm each time mixing the value and the hue for each series of building, because often there is not only one building with the same value and hue, there is a little bunch of them. So I'm mixing the color and the hue and the value, and then I apply that to the series of building. But this was very tedious to do that. It took me a lot of time to do that, and I think this is also because I was so excited and so happy that I wanted to do a good painting. I was very focused, but in the end, I think when you have more confidence in what you do, when you are more used to what you do, it's my first time painting a skyline. I guess it's my second time, because my first ever plein air painting was also a skyline painting of New York City, but it was from far away, way further than that. And it's not that it doesn't count, because it's still my plein air painting, but back then I really didn't know what I was doing. So I think that's what I noticed when I painted the trees lately, is that the more you paint a subject that look alike, or the same subject but it can be different spots, like if you start to paint trees and you go 5 times in a row painting trees, no matter which tree you paint, Well, this really helps to get better at painting trees. But then when you change and you start to paint buildings or architectural stuff, anything else than trees, you will see that basically it's almost starting from scratch again. So this is what is really hard with plein air, in my opinion, is that not only the condition changes, but the weather condition changes, so your painting will change, so you have to adapt yourself. But as well, when you change subject, it's also a new learning process each time. So of course, the more experience you have, and the easiest it becomes because you have more experience. So even if you don't know the subject, if you really know what you're doing, that really helps. And for that, there's only one thing to do. It's painting, painting, and painting, and painting again. So that's what I'm doing lately. I have been going all in on plein air this past month because I've been really enjoying doing that, and the weather is nice. It's a little too hot. We got a heat wave for at least 1 month and a half, 2 months, I will say. So that's why also I go early in the morning, because it's just more enjoyable. Even though I absolutely love the late afternoon light, when it's too hot, it's not enjoyable. But I guess this is what it is, painting on plein air. We have to get used to the condition, and we have to paint no matter what. And yeah, it's a good learning experience. So here I keep painting the skyline, and as is the case for overcast day, when the clouds are covering the sun like that, all the values are very, very close together. So I was very, very much focused on keeping my value close together for the whole skyline. And basically my idea was to paint the skyline pretty far in the back, and then painting the island that you see in front, in the foreground, we can say. I wanted to paint this island almost like you can see it here on the footage in the back. I wanted this island to appear closer to the viewer, and the building to appear way further back. And unfortunately, I didn't succeed that effect. So that's basically my disappointment for that painting. But other than that, I'm very happy with that painting. But this is something I will need to really pay attention next time I try to do an effect like that, is that the values of my foreground needs to be darker, and you will see after that I put some values that are too light in the foreground, and this will not work the way I wanted. Here I'm doing another mistake in a few seconds. There is one building that is in the middle that I haven't painted yet, and if you look at the building itself in the background, it appears very light, and in reality it appears even lighter when I was looking at it. And here I'm painting it, and so basically my mistake is that I painted this building way too light in value, and I guess I was starting to lose my concentration, my focus. Because the thing is when you compare the building one to another, you will see that this building appears very light. Like right now, it appears very light, the building in the middle. But the thing is that when you compare that building to the sky, well, you can see that even though this building is light, it's still darker than the sky. And here you can see back on my painting that unfortunately this building is loose. It lost itself within the sky, and this is extremely wrong. This building should have been bluer, but not lighter the way I painted it. So this is one of the mistakes, and now the other mistake is coming. I started good. My dark accent on the island, my shadows are, I think, fairly accurate in values. And now here I'm doing the mistake to mix my green too light, which doesn't read correctly, because now that I'm applying this green, the bushes or the trees, I guess they were trees, they appear they lose themselves in the buildings, and this is wrong, because the green, even though it was lighter than the shadow, it was still darker than the building. And to have this effect of the island coming forward at the viewer, I absolutely needed to keep my greens darker, even though if it's the light side, it needs to remain within the light area of the value scale, but it needs to be darker than that. So this is something I absolutely need to think next time I'm trying to do something like that. But other than that, like I said, I'm very happy about this painting. Again, it's a nice step forward in my learning process in plein air painting. Unfortunately, here we're not gonna see the end of the painting because, like I said, for the first time I stayed around 4 hours, and as I was not used to it, I didn't check my camera that usually never turn off, and here for the first time my camera turned off, so we won't see the end of the painting. I will show you the final painting, but we won't see the end of the process. And yeah, here as you can see also the sky start to clear, and we have some light really shining on the island, and that tricked my brain, and I, instead of keeping my island darker, I put some light that were way too light, and I lost my effect. But as I said, I'm very happy about this painting, and I'm looking forward for the next plein air painting.